Welcome to Emma Knows Money. We have a very special guest today. We have Stephanie Anderson from the Anderson Law Practice.
Yes.
Oh, I said it right.
You did.
Yeah, I did. And I wanted to welcome Stephanie. Stephanie's an estate planning attorney, an esteemed estate planning attorney here in Atlanta. And just wanted to, you're going to be one of the few people that I ever interview that's actually from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey.
So I'm not going to call you a Grady baby because I don't know where you were born exactly.
And it wasn't Grady.
It wasn't Grady. But tell us where you're from originally, where you went to high school, college, law school, the whole nine. And if you're in a member of a sorority, give us a little bit of background.
I will. So I born and raised in Decatur, Georgia. So I'm a product of DeKalb County.
Okay.
Yeah, and I went to Southwest DeKalb High School.
I know a lot of people from the school. Okay.
Yeah. So I was actually there when we won the state championship in football and all that good stuff. So yeah, it was good times and very proud to be a native of Decatur. So,
Awesome.
But went to Hampton University for
Okay.
undergrad. My parents did not let me stay in Atlanta for college.
I can understand. I can understand. It's good to just kind of experience another side of life. The South is very insular, and so it's good to get out of it.
So in hindsight, I am very thankful that they pushed me to kind of get outside of my comfort zone. So went to Hampton University, Hampton, Virginia, studied journalism and communications there.
Oh, wow.
And decided that I wanted to go to law school. And so came back home, went to University of Georgia, and knew that I wanted to practice here. So I've been here ever since.
So I have lots of questions about you, and we're going to talk about law, but I was looking on your Facebook page and I noticed something very interesting about you that most people probably would never guess about you. You've got a certain tie to the, I guess, the sports,
Yeah.
Atlanta sports world. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, outside of just being a really big fan
Uh-huh.
of all Atlanta sports, period, I cheered for the Falcons for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
I cheered for the Falcons for 3 years and danced for the Hawks for 1 year.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so my last year of law school, when I had a job tied up, I already knew what I was going to be doing. At that point, I just need to graduate and pass the bar.
Right.
So that last year, I decided that I did want to dance again.
Okay.
And so I danced for the Hawks that last year. And then when I graduated and moved back to Atlanta, tried out for the Falcons and made it and cheered for 3 years with them. So
Wow.
yeah,
This is after law school.
after law school.
So your parents were really excited.
Oh yeah, my dad's a huge Falcons fan. So when I told him that I made the team, my dad's first question was, "Do you get tickets?"
Did you?
Well, we get discounted
Okay.
tickets.
So he was able to
he was
attend
able
quite a-
to
okay.
attend. Yeah, it was a good time.
So there's so many different areas in law. There's litigating, there's mergers, there's real estate law. I mean, you can go on and on and on. And when I think of estate planning attorneys, I usually think of somebody, very seasoned.
Yes.
Who is like winding down their career. They don't
Yes.
want the hustle and bustle or the pressure. And it's usually somebody in their 50s or 60s who is now an estate planning attorney. How did you get drawn to estate planning? Like, how did that happen?
It wasn't on purpose.
Okay.
And so, so when I graduated from UGA, my first job was for a law firm, and we represented corporations and insurance companies.
Okay.
So I defended them.
Okay.
And so I was a litigator for my first few years. And I feel this happens a lot with estate planning attorneys. Usually something impacts you personally, and you start to realize the importance of the practice area. And that's exactly what happened to me and my family. We were dealing with not death, but dealing with sickness.
Okay.
And there just wasn't a proper plan in place. And so it was very eye-opening. You don't really understand the importance of those documents, those power of attorneys, those advanced directives, until you actually need them.
Yes.
And you don't have them. So, we're going through this as a family, and light bulb goes off for me. I need to do some planning for my parents. I need to put some documents in place for myself. I need to put some documents in place for my sister. I don't want to have to go through this if something were to happen. And so it's been a slow transition, but something impacted me personally where I understood the impact of the practice area.
What would you say is a huge misconception about estate planning? You just brought up the fact that it wasn't death.
It wasn't death.
So, estate planning is more than just planning for when you're 6 feet under.
Exactly.
Okay.
It is. I think that's the biggest misconception, is that most people think they're going to talk to me only about what happens when they die.
Okay.
And I'm like, there's such a huge chunk missing.
Right.
Because we're also going to be talking about, well, what happens if you can't make your own financial decisions? You're still alive and you can't make or communicate your own financial decisions. You can't communicate your healthcare wishes. That's just as important. And for me, that's almost more scary. I'm still alive and can't do those things, and I haven't put a plan in place.
Not protecting myself. I can no longer protect myself, and I've become vulnerable.
Exactly.
We both know tons and tons of stories, and we'll get into that a little bit. But you, one of the things that kind of intrigued me about you and your practice is you have a different style of interacting with people. And introducing them to the concepts of estate planning. So when we come back in our next segment, I would love for you to just talk a little bit about what you do to make people relax before they even come in and sit down with you.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back right after this.